It was supposed to be one of the happiest nights of my life. Our 5-year anniversary. 5 years of love, growing together, sharing a home, building a future. At least, that's what I thought. I spent weeks planning everything. I booked us a table at the same little Italian restaurant where we had our first date. Got her the same kind of flowers I gave her that night. Red tulips, her favorite. I even wrote her a card, something personal, because she always said I was bad at expressing feelings out loud. That whole day I was nervous, but not the bad kind of nervous, more like excited. You know that feeling when you're about to do something special for someone you love, and you can't wait to see their reaction. That's where I was mentally. I was all in. I got off work early, picked up the flowers, and drove home smiling like an idiot. I even grabbed her favorite chocolate cake from this tiny bakery across town. The plan was to surprise her before dinner, have a glass of wine at home, give her the gift, then head out. When I walked into the house, everything was quiet. Her car was in the driveway, so I figured maybe she was napping or in the shower. I set everything up, flowers on the table, card next to the cake, wine poured, even music playing low in the background. I called out her name once, then twice. No answer. I walked down the hall toward the bedroom. The door was cracked just enough that I could see the edge of the bed. What I saw next didn't make sense at first. It was like my brain refused to register it. 2 wine glasses, one half full. A jacket that wasn't mine draped over the chair. And then I saw her phone lighting up on the dresser, a message preview that said, "Can't stop thinking about last night." At that moment, something dropped in my chest. That warm, excited feeling, gone. Replaced by a cold numbness I didn't even know was possible. I didn't say anything. I just stood there, staring at the pieces that didn't fit, trying to make them fit anyway. I wanted to believe I was wrong, that there was some innocent explanation. But I knew. Deep down I knew. I backed away quietly, went outside, and sat in my car. I didn't cry. Not yet. I just stared at the steering wheel, heart pounding, thinking, this was supposed to be our night. And in that single moment, everything changed. I sat in the car for what felt like hours, but it was probably only 20 minutes. My hands were shaking, and my heart wouldn't stop racing. The moment I saw that message, I felt like I left my own body. I wasn't even mad yet, just stunned, like I had been hit so hard emotionally that I couldn't even feel the pain yet. She eventually texted me, "Where are you? Everything okay?" Everything okay? I stared at those words like they were some kind of joke. 5 years together, and she was texting me like nothing had happened, like she wasn't hiding something behind my back. I didn't reply. I couldn't. I drove to a gas station nearby, parked in the far corner, and just sat there. That's when the sadness kicked in, the kind that makes your chest feel heavy, like it's hard to breathe. I remember thinking about our anniversary trip the year before. We went to the mountains, stayed in a tiny cabin, and danced to old songs in our pajamas. Was that fake too? I pulled out my phone and started going through our old photos. Smiling faces, kisses, inside jokes in the captions. I looked at each one and thought, how long has this been going on? Was I the only one who thought this was real? Then came the doubt. Was I not enough? Did I mess up somehow? Did I miss the signs? I started replaying every conversation from the last few months. She had been on her phone more. She laughed at messages she didn't show me. She'd tell me she was tired when I wanted to talk. I brushed it off. I trusted her. I was so sure she loved me back. And now, here I was, on the night I was supposed to celebrate our love, sitting in a car trying not to break down in a parking lot. Eventually, I drove back home, but I didn't go inside. I parked down the street and just watched the house. I needed to see who walked out, needed confirmation that I wasn't going crazy. About 20 minutes later, a guy walked out. I didn't recognize him. Tall, beard, leather jacket. She walked him out to his car, smiling. Like she didn't just destroy 5 years of trust and memories. I didn't yell. I didn't confront them. I just waited until he drove off. Then I quietly walked in like nothing had happened. She looked surprised to see me but smiled, pretending like everything was normal. She said, "You're back just in time." I looked at her and nodded, but inside, I was falling apart. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay awake thinking about how fast things can change. One moment, you're planning forever. The next, you're wondering if any of it was ever real. That night, after she went to sleep, I lay there staring at the ceiling, thinking about everything. My chest was tight. My eyes were dry. I wasn't even crying anymore. I was just stuck in this strange space between heartbreak and clarity. I kept asking myself, what now? Do I confront her? Do I leave? Do I wait for more proof? But then a different question came to me. What do I really want? That question hit different, because for 5 years, I thought what I wanted was this relationship, her, us, but clearly we didn't want the same things anymore, or at least she didn't. And I couldn't force that. No amount of gifts or effort or loyalty could make someone stay if they've already chosen to leave emotionally. I realized that if I didn't take control of the situation, I'd stay stuck in it, quietly suffering, pretending, losing more of myself every day, and I didn't want to become that person. So the next morning, I got up early, made coffee, sat on the balcony like I usually did, except this time, I wasn't scrolling or trying to distract myself. I just thought. I started making a plan, not out of revenge, not out of anger, but out of self-respect. I deserved honesty and peace and love that wasn't sneaking behind my back. So I talked to her later that day, calmly. I told her I saw the message, I saw the signs. I didn't yell. I didn't try to make her feel bad. I just told her the truth. I wasn't going to beg someone to stay who didn't want to be all in. At first she denied it. Then she got quiet. Then she started crying. She said she didn't know why she did it, that it just happened, that she still loved me. I wanted to believe her, I really did, but I'd already made up my mind. I didn't need an apology to move on. I didn't need closure from her. I needed peace within myself. So I left. I packed a bag and went to stay with a friend for a few days. I didn't post anything on social media. I didn't block her. I didn't try to make her jealous. I just stepped away from the drama, the pain, the noise, and started focusing on myself. It wasn't easy. I still missed her some nights. I still had dreams where things were okay again. But each day, I got a little stronger. I started journaling. I started walking again. I even signed up for therapy, which was something I'd always put off. And through all that pain, I realized something really important. You don't always get the apology you deserve, and you don't need it to move on. Sometimes the best revenge is peace. Not silence out of spite, but silence out of healing. That was the beginning of a new chapter for me, one where I was finally choosing myself. You know what surprised me the most? It wasn't just the betrayal itself. It was how normal I looked on the outside while I was falling apart inside. I'd walk past people on the street, nod at the barista, scroll through my feed, all while carrying this heavy truth inside me. Like, my world was flipped upside down, but everything else kept moving like nothing happened. And that's what makes this kind of heartbreak so hard. Because it's silent, it's private, and you feel like you're the only one going through it, even though you're not. I started talking to a couple close friends, and that's when it hit me. Almost everyone I knew had a story. Maybe it wasn't cheating. Maybe it was a one-sided relationship, or a messy breakup, or someone they loved who just didn't love them back the same way. One of my buddies told me, "Man, it's not about what happens to you, it's about how you get up after." That stuck with me. Because pain like this has a way of making you feel like something's wrong with you, like you weren't enough, like you missed something obvious. But the truth is, betrayal says more about the person who betrays you than the one who got betrayed. If you're listening to this and you've ever been in my shoes, whether you walked in on a lie, found a message that didn't feel right, or just had your heart broken without warning, I want you to hear me when I say this. You are not crazy. You are not weak for still loving them. You are not stupid for trusting them. You are human. And that's what makes you strong. Even when it doesn't feel like it. Even when you're crying in the car or staring at the ceiling at 2 a.m., wondering where it all went wrong. What helped me most was realizing that it's okay to not have it all figured out. Healing isn't a straight line. Some days you'll feel fine. Other days it'll hit you out of nowhere. That's normal. You'll see a picture, hear a song, walk past a place you used to go together, and for a second, it'll feel like the wound just opened back up. That's okay too. But eventually, the feelings fade. Slowly. And one day, you realize you haven't thought about them in hours. Then days. Then weeks. You stop replaying every little moment. You stop wondering what they're doing. You stop needing answers. And in that space, something beautiful happens. You start becoming yourself again. Not the version that was always trying to make it work. Not the one who kept bending so things wouldn't break. But the real you. The one who deserves to be loved honestly, openly, fully. And that's where the real healing begins. Looking back now, I don't regret loving her. I regret ignoring my gut when it started whispering that something wasn't right. I regret putting her needs so far above my own that I forgot I mattered too. But I don't regret the time I gave, or the energy, or the memories we made. Because that version of me, the one who showed up, who believed in love, who tried, he deserved better. And he's the reason I kept going. I know some people think revenge is about getting even, about making the other person hurt the way you did. But to me, the real revenge is waking up one day and realizing you're not broken anymore. That their betrayal didn't define you. That you're still standing, stronger, wiser, more aware of your worth than ever before. So if you've ever been lied to, if someone you loved betrayed you when you least expected it, maybe even on a day that was supposed to be special, I want you to know this. You will get through it. Even if it doesn't feel like it right now, even if your heart's still heavy and your mind keeps running through what ifs, I promise you, the pain will pass. And what's waiting for you on the other side is peace. Real peace. The kind that comes when you finally put yourself first. You deserve love that doesn't hide in the shadows. You deserve a partner who chooses you every day, not just when it's convenient. And until you find that, love yourself enough to walk away from anything less. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever been in a relationship where you gave your all, only to be betrayed? What helped you heal? Was it time, distance, talking to someone, or maybe just accepting that closure sometimes comes from within? Drop your story in the comments. You never know who might be reading it and need those words. And if you made it this far, thank you. I appreciate you. I see you. You're not alone in this. If this story connected with something in you, don't forget to like the video. It helps more people find it. Subscribe for more real stories like this, because healing doesn't happen in silence. It happens in community. Take care of your heart. You only get one. And remember, it's not the end. It's just the beginning of something better.